Hello and welcome to race coverage of the Rasio Popup 2 race, Krajewski's Babci. Live stream brought to you by ZMS Livestream, and commentary is by myself, Riley Harvey, and Mike Lister, who is also racing tonight. Hi Mike.
Hi there Riley, thanks for the introduction. Yeah, I'm going to be racing again this week. Looks like it's going to be another fun course. I had a nice result, got the second place last week. But once again, I expect it's going to be a tough race. Lots of familiar, good riders here. So, yeah, we'll see what we can do and hopefully get a result again.
Not too long a course tonight. I've got it looking at just over 31 kilometres. And not too much elevation again either, only 234 metres. Are you seeing any points on this course where you think there might be an opportunity for an attack?
Yeah, it's a little bit shorter than last week, not quite as much climbing, but I still think there's going to be a couple of opportunities, especially in the second half of the race. That's where we see some short, sharp, little punchy climbs where there might be an opportunity for a couple of riders to try and get away, try and break up the field. So I imagine the first half will be fairly steady, and then second half, that's where we're going to see those attacks. And the Rasio boys last week, you know, they worked hard, they put in some good team tactics, and I imagine as the hosts, they're going to be looking at this course, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they try something different again this week.
I managed to grab one of the Rasio racers after the event. Sounds like they had a little bit of a miscommunication on the team radio, and I think the result might have been slightly different. I think they'll have been practicing that during the week, and we might see some different tactics from them, or some more consolidated tactics from them this time around.
Yeah, it's definitely one to watch out for. I think they've got 5 riders in tonight's race. So, yeah, they'll be, I'm sure, trying to animate things. We've got James Melville here, Jim Foley, Ned Bowen. All these guys are very good riders, very accomplished. James Melville taking the win in last week's race, so we're keeping an eye on him.
We've got Jan Decker in as well. Can't forget about him.
Yeah. Yeah, can't forget about Jan. Yeah, one of those Rasio racing boys. He's very strong. I thought he was going early last week. Looks like it'll be a fairly flat run into the line. So he's the sort of guy that can go with a kilometre to go and just hold off the field.
I've identified a climb at about 13.9 kilometres. It's quite a steep climb, but more importantly, it goes straight in the descent. There's no respite on the top, so I think you need to watch yourself on that one, Mike. I think someone will try and get away on that one, and there's, like you say, there's a couple of punchy climbs after that which might allow them to keep that gap if they get it there.
Yeah, those climbs followed by a quick descent, they're often good places to attack because it can really stretch the field out. Riders can very quickly gain some momentum down that hill. It will stretch it out and potentially break the elastic. So just off to a fast start there. Just catch my breath. Straight into it.
Always fast starts on these races.
Oh, caught me off guard there doing the commentary and not focusing.
They had a few last minute sign-ups there. We're up to 40 sign-ups on the race.
Yeah, good to see a good field size. Looks like this will be a regular race. It should be good. That's the ride.
One of the riders we just talked
into
about.
The pack.
Got Jan Decker there, just
Decker.
tucked in at the front. The powers aren't crazy at this moment in the race.
No, not too bad. The first half has got more downhill, so there's a chance to sit in a little bit, save those legs for the second half. Going to be another warm one though. Garage is already feeling a bit toasty, a bit muggy.
You can see the Rasio Racing guys there, they're all bunching together. There's 3 of them together, keeping themselves near the front of the pack. Mike using his elbows there to push a rider out of the draft.
Yeah, I'm just tail gunning a little bit at the minute. I've got Alex Plager behind me. Oh, no, I've gone rolling through to the front. The gradient changes for you. So far so good though, 2 minutes in, fairly relaxed.
I think this race is based in Poland. It's Krajewski's local stomping grounds.
Yeah, they're quite an international field, the Rasio boys.
Krajewski is a gold ranked rider. He just raced in the Oz New Zealand Winter Series, race 8, and finished first in that one. Quite a few firsts on his Palmares. And it's quite extensive. He's 171 races he's completed on RGT.
Yeah, he's very experienced.
I think you might have nudged your camera a bit there, Mike.
I don't think that is me. I think that might be your room, innit?
We've got Powers there on the front, about 340. Jay Samet, he's in there in the mix quite regularly. Krajewski's on the front of the pack.
Yeah, Samir was in that little breakaway group with me last week when the race broke into in the final few kilometres. Unfortunately, we couldn't keep that breakaway. It came back together into a bunch sprint of 11 or so riders at the end. But it'll be interesting to see if we get any splits like that happening again today. You know, a lot of these riders, they do like to animate the races, try and break it up before that sprint finish.
Interesting rider here, Jacob Skovskar. Looking at his Palmares, he's the Danish champion for e-cycling elite men 2020, Danish champion for the TT M45 2020. Could possibly be someone that you might need to look at there, Mike. Keep a close eye on him.
Yeah, it sounds like he might have some serious watts.
Looks like he prefers the TNT events. Looking back at his Palmares, he's had mostly racing in the TNT recently, so I'd expect him to have a strong and sustained power on him. Krajewski's at the front of the race there, just lighting it up a little bit, dragging it out. Oh, that's a shame, Nick. It's a pity you're not here with the rest of you boys, willing the team on. Hope that you're feeling better soon.
This is a live comment, isn't it, Riley? So if people want to get involved, they can put a message on the Facebook stream and we can put their comments up on screen.
Yeah, of course. People probably don't know that's something we've added recently. Another way to get in touch. Give us your thoughts as we're doing the commentary. Let us know if there's someone that we need to look out for or any bits of information that you think are relevant.
I see Ned Bowen commenting on the YouTube stream saying I'm a ghost. I'm not sure if that's because I'm just hiding in the wheels a little bit in this early part of the race. Or if I just
he knows your tactics.
Nowhere sometimes.
So it's looking like we've got a little group of 3 trying to work together to get away at the front of the race here. Krajewski's putting out around about 300 to 370 watts when he's on the front. They've not managed to make it stick. This early in the race, I wouldn't expect anyone to be able to get away in a break. There's too much of the pack left, too much peloton there to chase them down.
Yeah, we're on a bit of a downhill section as well at the minute. Left with the peloton quite a bit of speed, a bit of draft saving. Makes it hard for those breakaways. It's good to see those comments up on the screen. Broadcast is always evolving, always adding new features in. And right on cue, look, there we go, there's another one.
Well, there's plenty more races left in this season, Nick. I'm sure you'll be back on the bike and giving everyone a good pasting on the virtual world.
She'll be back for the Westerly race next Wednesday. She's currently sitting second in the overall leaderboard in that series. 7 events, 6 more to go.
Just with the aerial cam there, you got to see how the effect of the corners just strung the pack out very much there. A lot of the riders at the back there having to put in efforts to get themselves back up with the group at the front. Kimber's just pushing away a little bit, pushing the pace there. Again, for those who are watching the stream for the first time, when you see the bars underneath the riders' names, that's an indication of the level of effort that they're putting in relation to their FTP. Kimber's above FTP there when he's putting in the red efforts. See how much it drops whenever you can see how much it dramatically drops whenever you slot in a wheel and receive the draft of the rider in front. Putting out 170 watts there, but still going at 40 kilometers an hour. You can also see quite quickly his heart rate's dropping now. It was up at 164 when we first started falling in, but was dropping down to 160 there as he was just taking a bit of a break in the wheels.
There we are, back on cam now. No longer a ghost.
Ah, that was the comment.
And we can see how hard I'm working now. No hiding when you're on camera.
Krajewski keeps on pushing to the front there and pushing the pace up a little bit. Obviously he's got an idea of how this race plays out in real life as well. So his legs are probably telling him a bit more of a story than the screen's telling everyone else.
I think he just knows what his grandma's cooking for dinner when we all arrive.
Picking up Momots at the back of the pack there. They've dropped off a little bit. There's 770 metres between them and the beginning of the peloton now. Actually a little bit further than that.
Yeah, there's a few little groups on the road. Biggs, Zero, Roz, they're a little group that are a bit behind the main peloton.
Matthew and Rodart there. Puta Spania. All putting in good rides. Biggs, Roz and Sierra there, forming a little group on the road. And they're around about 600 metres behind the main group of the peloton. They're still putting out quite a lot of power to stay in these positions. Again, it's very easy once you've lost that draft from the main group. In a small group like that, you have to put in a heck of a lot of power to recover when you're working against the peloton. Randler there was a second ago, they were off the front, pushing the pace, and they've dropped back already. Back in with the main group here.
Yeah, there's quite an upping of the pace on the front. He got a bit strung out. And Randler there, just caught out off the back. Foley, he was off 15-20 metres, but he managed to get back on. These hills.
Those little efforts.
Well, yeah, those little efforts, those hills. Someone ups the pace. It's an opportunity just to try and distance a couple of riders out of the pack.
It should just be dropping back into a descent now. For those who are unfamiliar with the RGT platform, this is a Magic Road creation, which is a way you can take a GPX from any road in the world, whether you've ridden it or you've seen it on Strava. You can bring it into the platform and it'll create the terrain, it'll create the bends, turns on the road, it'll give you the accurate elevation, gradients that you'd experience in real life, but with a generic platform of the trees and scenery around you, which is a great training tool and is also great to keep your races individual and interesting. You never ride in the same terrain. Well, you don't have to ride the same terrain more than once.
Yeah, I love that variety of races. Keeps you thinking every time, not just about the legs, but the brain as well. Watching that course profile, where can I attack? Where would others attack? Always got to be on guard. You can't just coast for 30 kilometres and then sprint in the last 100 metres. If you do that, there's a danger you won't make it. So it really keeps you on your toes. It's great.
Was this the game plan, Nick? Is this the point where the hammer should be dropped? I was saying that around about 13.9 on this little sharp incline is where we were going to see some breaks in the pack. And are you confirming that, Nick? Are you on race radio telling your boys that they need to go at that point?
I think Nick is BSing. He's getting some insider info from the stream, watching the live feed and relaying that back to the team.
They're obviously very concerned about your position in this race, Mike. Second last week, I think. You've got a good chance of getting the first this week. Just keep an eye on those Rasio Racing boys.
I'm not sure about that. It's a pretty stacked field. Got to good 10-15 riders who could take the win. Ned Bowen's the one you've got to watch out for in that sprint finish. He's bang on with his timing. Very good at knowing exactly when to push the button and launch that sprint to get the line first. It's such fine margins. He's really got it down to a T.
So Ned Bowen's another gold-rated rider. If you're wondering what I'm referring to as gold-rated, some of these events are ranked, and you can improve your ranking by taking part in ranked events, which is displayed on rgtdb.com. And you can see what sort of competition you're up against in these races, but you can also improve your own position just for your own peace of mind, your own fulfillment. And looking at Ned Bowen's stats here, he's got quite a few races where he's finished on the top step of the podium, but he's got plenty where he's improved his ranking and been on that winner's podium. So it's a good reference point to look back, see how people have done. Nick just commenting there that Van Bears, another one of the Rasio Racing boys, is the DS today.
Yeah, sometimes that's better, having a rider out on the road, calling the shots right in the thick of the action. You can see exactly what's happening. It's all very well de-essing from the live stream, but if we cut to an ad break, you're going to miss the action. Or if we're looking down the field at some of the other riders, you're not always going to see what's happening at the front of the race. So you need to have eyes everywhere.
Van Bears finishing in 16th on the Rasio Popup Racing last week.
Alright, we're just coming up to that little climb that you mentioned earlier, Riley. Looks like it's about 700-800 metres, about 2 or 3%. Might just get stretched out along here. This is where you want to be, up near the front of the race, because there's that sharp drop afterwards where it will get strung out.
And you can already see there some guys are pushing to
There
the
we go,
front,
now.
trying to ratchet out. Oh, and it's Ned, you just mentioned him a moment ago, he's putting in an early sprint for the top of this climb. Oh, the power numbers coming out there, 630. Keeping his cadence nice and high as well. Rasio Racing seeing the danger there, one of their guys running up there, Mike Lister's looking for that, keeping a check on him. Jan Decker moving to the front. Everybody concerned about this climb.
Yeah, it was a smart move. Went a bit earlier than I planned. Safely in the pack. But it looks like there's a little bit of a split there.
Van Bears pushing on at the front. Rasio watching him, they're going for it. And we've definitely dropped some riders out of this group now. There's been a selection made there, and I think once you've gone over the crest of this, they won't be getting back on.
Looked to me like Malville, Plager, and Foley were in that little group that were off the back. Some big names.
You're right, yeah. Yeah. Plager's made it back into the group. I'm not sure whether Melville will. He's pushing hard to catch up.
He won't give up just yet. Tenacious.
Well, we've already seen him make it back to the group last week from a break.
There he is, he's made it back on. He would have burnt a couple of matches for that effort.
Back with Austin in 20th position here. And Toffoli. And they're not going to be making this back on. LaRoche is there as well. Pace LaRoche. Guillaume Toffoli looks like he's calling it a day for the moment.
Yeah, looks like Toffoli's sat up. It's good news for us in the front pack. He's a strong sprinter. He almost took the win last week. He started his sprint quite early, about 300 metres from the line, and he just got swamped in the last 20-30 metres or so. So for him to not be in that front group, that's good news for the rest of us. So obviously not great for him.
Finn Brask is in the group with you there, going back on his previous results. He finished 20th last week in the Rasio Racing, but he looks like he's been consistently improving back through his last 10 or so races. Racing in the classic de Jeudi races on Thursdays. Silver ranked at the moment, but it's creeping closer to gold now.
Sounds like he's getting the hang of the platform. Got his eye in. Learned how it works, learned the drafting, starting to learn those tactics, and that's helping move him up the leaderboard. Score some high position.
We're just focusing on him now, and for someone putting in that sort of power, he's got a heart rate of 112. That's fantastic.
Must be ice cold blood. I don't know what the temperature's like in Denmark at the minute, in the Scandinavian countries. Keeping it cool. I've got my fans on, but I'm still warming up.
Yeah, I run that sort of a heart rate, just sat down.
We've got a little series of 3 sharp rollers now over the next couple of kilometres.
Nick just messaging in there to say it was a good push by James Melville, and I totally agree. It was great to have been split from the pack like that and be brought back on again. Race is looking animated again at the front. Oh, and it's Melville that's doing it. He's just taking a quick look behind him there.
Yep, doing some damage.
The avatars are animated, so when you use the look back option on the control panel, the other riders can see that you're doing that, and it can give them a little bit of an insight into what you're trying to achieve. Mike just giving us a wave as he went past the camera there.
Just cruising. Here comes another climb.
We're sitting in with Rob Miller here, looking at his power figures, and he's putting 500 watts in there and gradually being dropped from the pack, so you can see how hard they're going. 420 watts and people are just pulling away from him. I think Rob's looking like he might be struggling here. Alex Plays off at the front there. But 12.2 kilometres still to go. I think this is just going to be a slimming of the field. I don't think this will be a break that'll stick. Alex done some damage there. He's just easing off on the power, letting the pack catch him back up again. And it's nice and easy to recognise the Rasio Racing boys there with the bright red helmets and the black Watt Bike kits. Helps you recognise your teammates in the pack. With the drafting facility on RGT, it's very important to work together. You can really make a big difference. Alex again pushing it at the front. Krajewski coming up with him. 600 watts.
Oh, I nearly got dropped there. I was reading the comments. I'm not watching the race. Schoolboy error. There's an extra match burn.
Well, there's no point in having the matches if you're not at the front of the race to use them.
Indeed.
Now we're just checking out Miller and Mike Aid there. They've dropped back from the pack. Those last two pushes there have proved a little bit too much for them. Mike Aid, one of the OTR racing guys. He's sat up a bit, but I think he's still putting some effort in there. He's not going to just roll home. Alex pushing forward there, running off the front of the race again. He seems to be the rider that's been nominated by Rasio Racing to just make it difficult for everyone.
It's working.
I think we might start seeing some multiple attacks from Rasio Racing here with Alex going up the road and then one of the other riders coming up and over the top of him. Jansen's dropping back there. It's looking like he's going to get distanced. Brask is at the back of the pack as well. And Donnelly, it's looking like it's going to be dropping back to the further groups on the road for him. Melville pushing through the group up towards the front. This is good riding by Brask, pushing 5+ watts per kilogram there. It's looking like he's going to just get back onto the back of the group. Don't ease up too early, Finn. Keep the power on until you're in the wheels. 530 watts there and just cruising back into the pack. It's looking like Mike's on the back there, just being dangled dangerously.
Just trying to enjoy a bit of draft, take a little rest.
And Samu pushing forward to the front of the group. It's a nice.
12 now.
It's important to balance the time on the front with the time in the wheels. Donnelly and Jansen's there, they've dropped off the back. Looks like they're going to work together to bring this in.
Yeah, they're about 200 metres off the back at the moment. We've got another climb coming up, just over a kilometre, and then there's a good downhill run towards the line.
Oh, we've had another push at the front here. Krajewski's gone. Samu's pushed over the top of him. You can see the numbers are going red here. Power's up over 5 watts per kilogram. Pack's brought it back together. Just waiting for the next attack.
As we predicted, these races are very animated. Lots of attacks off the front.
Yandek is there still. Joris Sheppers. Melville's still there. Kimber. Be interesting to see if it does come down to a sprint with Ned Bowen at the end there. See if your predictions on his the quality of his sprint timing are right, Mike.
I hope not. For my sake, anyway.
We've got a 26-second gap opening up to the next group on the road there. Kimber putting in a bit of a sustained effort on the front. Being bridged to. That's Melville again. We were saying last week Melville's a good all-rounder, very strong rider. Again, just using the look-back feature there to see if they've opened a gap up. You'll see riders doing that, taking a run at the front, just having a look back to see if the gap's there, to see whether they should keep the power on. And Janssens and Donnelly there, just working together. The gap is 29 seconds. I think they'll struggle to close that down. Looking at the map for this race, it does look like the end is going to be slightly interesting. It levels off after a climb at around about 23 kilometres, but there does appear to be a few sharp turns on the run into the finish, which could make it interesting. The turns cut your draft and also break the riders, just as in real life you can't go through a turn doing 60 kilometers per hour, so that the software manually brakes you as you're going into those turns. So it's very important to get your positioning right, to push at the right time.
Feels like we've just had a slowing up of the pace. About 5k from the finish. I think people realise for this downhill it's not going to take long to get to the line, so people looking to conserve a bit of energy here, a bit of cat and mouse.
Yeah, the last climb is
more than
the last bit of climbing
between
between 23 and 24.
I think there's another little bump I can see. About 2k from the end.
Yeah, between about 23 and 24 kilometres. It doesn't look substantial at all. It's only about 20 metres of climbing. Skovskar going hard. Krajewski's seeing that as a little bit of a threat. He's moved up. Krajewski and Skovskar pushing hard on the front there. 400 watt efforts. Krajewski's still pushing hard. Peloton's not really closing that gap. It looks, if anything, to be opening up slightly. Skovskar's kicking again, taking the front. They're working together. Just a slight easing of the pace there, but Skovskar's not giving up. He's pushing on again. Into the descent.
Yeah, we're downhill though.
200. Skovskar's just raised his heart rate there. He's going up at 167, 180 beats per minute. You can see a little bump in the road there coming up. And Shepard's giving it a push off the front. Skovskar's following. The whole peloton's not prepared to let Shepard's get away there. 3 kilometres to go. Shepard is pushing hard here, just bringing his stats up. Hitting 400 watts there. The group's comfortable behind, following. Mike just rolling through to the front of the group there and easing off his power so he can get back into the wheels again.
Yeah, it's pretty flat running, pretty straight. Don't want to go too early.
Look like you're swaying a little bit there, Mike.
Just a little bit, yeah. Pace is just lifting.
Pushing out 400 watts there just to catch in.
Yeah, just close that gap.
Bruce pushing off the front there. It's not a rider we've seen a lot of. We've not mentioned him before. Canadian. Wonder if he's been saving his legs back in the peloton.
We don't want to give him too much of a lead.
Only 1.4 kilometres to go. This is where it's going to start hotting up. There's the Flamme Rouge. And we're getting to the point now where if you've got any matches, this is where you're going to burn them. Rusnak's a common rider in the OTR Veteran Series, and also won the Classic de Jeudi, and he's won a few of the Monday races, the E-Race de Mercredi. That's not Monday, is it? Mercredi is not Monday. 770 metres to go. Rusnak's still on the front. Brask is following. I'm going to put my bets on Skovskar making a good sprint here and taking the lead, taking the win. Ned Bowen still in the mix. Brask doing fantastically. Jan Decker dropping back towards the back of the pack here. Is he going to make a well-timed sprint using the draft of everyone in the peloton? Krajewski pushing it at the front, keeping the pace high. 3.9 watts per kilogram. Rusnak again back on the front. Brask pushing 4.4 just to keep himself in there. Shepherd's going long. Shepherd's is off the back, he's pushing hard. Shepherd's got a 12.5 watt per kilogram sprint. Mike's following him, chasing hard. He's into the draft, he's gone past him. Mike kicking on, 13 watts per kilogram. Is Mike going to take it? He's looking solid. Shepherd's is pushing hard. Will Shepherd's bring him back in? I think Mike's got this one. He's over the line. Mike's took the win. Ned Bowen timed it to get into second place. Shepherd's in third. That was fantastic riding, Mike.
Oh man.
Skovskar dropped back into 11th position there. I think the sprinting caught him out. I think Brask done a fantastic ride there. Going back off his previous results, he's stayed with the lead group. Come in at 10th. No commentary from you there, Mike?
Oh well, yeah. We were cruising for the last kilometre, and we were down at like 35 kilometres an hour. That's pretty slow for the running. And I saw Joris go. I was thinking about 350, try and get the jump on the pack because it was so slow. And yeah, Shepherd's went, and I thought, oh great, I've got a bit of a lead out, and then managed to pass him with about 180 to 200 to go, and then it was just about holding on and praying the pack didn't catch, which yeah, was I was watching the live stream, not watching mine, so I was a little bit behind. I kept sprinting for a bit longer, but oh, my man Ned though got the sprint behind, so yeah, happy with that. Oh
yeah, Ned did a well-timed sprint. He just wasn't fast enough to catch you.
I just think it was that starting speed was so low from the pack. It was always going to take them just that little bit longer just to get up to speed. So yeah, it was, as I say, got to read the pack, got to read the race. That mental game as well as that physical game. Oh yeah, I had to go deep for it. Oh, I'm being informed as well that Mercredi is Wednesday, by the way.
I knew that as soon as it said it. Monday is Monday, obviously, but it's a little while since I've done French at GCSE. But moving back to the results, yeah. We've got the first seven. Moving swiftly on. My lack of intelligence not withholding. We've got 7 there in all finishing within 1 second of the leader. Rasio Racing managed to get 4 of their guys into the top 10, which is a great result. I'm sure they'll be kicking themselves for not having taken the win. Shepherd's on the 3rd step of the podium. Great riding. Some great power produced there. Krajewski, who was animating the race all the way through there, he's averaged out at 3.9 watts per kilogram. Surprisingly, Pleasure there only at 2.91, and he did seem to be making some big moves off the front there. Obviously, he was dropping back and getting some great watt savings in the pack. Kimber, strong riding, 3.92. But as we can see with these results, the watts per kilogram isn't necessarily what it takes to win the race. A lot of tactics, a lot of choosing your points to attack, and as Mike's just illustrated there, having a great sprint, that can be what makes the difference.
And the lead-out man as well, Shepherd's I owe him a beer. Just gave me that wheel and a little bit of extra draft just to pull me across.
So it's great racing. I believe there'll be another Rasio Racing pop-up next week, Mike, on the Monday. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I hope so. I would like to do another one. They're good fun, good crowd, hard racing, tactical racing, and with those few climbs in there as well, it gives you plenty of opportunities for riders to attack and animate the race, keep you on your toes. So I'm sure there will be. If there is, hopefully we'll be covering it. And check out V Cycling News on Facebook or ZMS Livestream for details of that once we announce it.
You can also check out the racing on estv.co, which is an esports platform streaming onto your TV through a number of apps. And you can check back for previous races that we covered on Virtual Cycling News or on the ZMS Livestream Facebook page, and give them a like to get notified of upcoming streams. And there's always fantastic racing going on. You don't have to be limited to just watching the Tour de France. You can watch some good racing instead.
Instead of the Tour de France.
Yeah. You won't want to watch both.
Absolutely.
And also,
I had a choice. I've been doing this. Oh, you round up, Riley. I'm a bit knackered.
I don't know why, Mike. It's been great having you here with us. We have got the Facebook feature where you can throw up some messages to us whilst we're commentating. Keep us up to date with anything we may have missed during the stream. Any points that you think of interest with any riders that you follow, any guys that you know that are in the peloton. Keep us informed. Let us know. Give a shout out to one of your friends that's racing. You can also check out rgtdb.com, which I was using through the race there to look through riders' profiles, get yourself registered, make a bio for yourself. And we've mentioned on other streams about using the eBio passport as well to keep virtual racing clean. We hope to see you next time around. That's all from me and Mike, if he's still there, having his cool down. It's been great having you along.
All right, thanks a lot, everyone. Yeah, thanks, Riley. And I will catch you all again next time once my legs have recovered. See you all again soon.